Hey fellow tankers, Mobius here with another video on World of Tanks console. This is being recorded on my Xbox One, and this is just a simple garage update. In the spirit of October and Halloween, we've got the spooky garage in the background while I showcase which tanks I have in my garage. So I'm just going to turn off all these filters right quick here, and we'll just go through all the tanks in my garage one by one. So starting off with the US tanks, I've got this T2 Light, had it for a very long time, very cheap, fun premium tank to pick up. Good first tank to pick up if you're just delving into purchasing gold on this game. Next up, we've got the T1E6X. Got this for free for an Xbox anniversary or something like that. Can't remember what it is. Another good little premium tank. Pretty strong for a tier 2. Good crew trainer. T7 Combat Car. Another one that I got for free. Can't really remember what this one was for though. But again, because it's very low tier, another good US crew trainer. T1E6X1. Got this one for free. Never played it. Unlike the T1E6X, I have a couple games in, but this thing came with a new crew as well. I simply haven't played it. It's the same thing as a T1E6X, just with a different paint scheme. The Locust Tier 3 Scout Tank. This is a very good US premium tank to pick up. A good first buy for people just trying out purchasing gold as well. Very good crew trainer, and seeing as how it goes up to Tier 5 matches, it's very good for practicing those scout tank abilities, knowing when you are outmanned and outgunned, learning various scout tank aspects. The T23E3, this I picked up with the Xbox 360 Founders Packs when the Xbox 360 version was released. Very fun tank, especially now that it has massive buffs to the mobility, pretty much. Moves like a 46 Pat, pretty much. Still with a really fast rate of fire gun. Very rare tank, you hardly see these, but I rarely bust it out nowadays. Still a really solid tank to play. T26E4 Super Pershing, the most nerfed tank in history, even though it's never been nerfed. A long-running joke on there. But anyways, I don't really like playing this thing. I know a lot of people that do. Personally, I just can't stand how slow it is. Nevertheless, if you do like frontal armor and can tolerate low mobility, this is a pretty dang good tier 8 premium tank to pick up. It's one of the cheaper ones too. It's only about 8 or 9,000 gold. Good tier 8 premium to pick up for bonus silver earning. T95E2, bought this with a Xbox One Founders Pack. It's the only one that I was interested to at the time. Unfortunately, I didn't buy an AMX Chaffee instead, which was really stupid of me, but I like this much more than Super Pershing. Feels like an actual medium tank, moves like a medium tank. This is the Pershing. This is the Tech Tree Tier 8 medium tank on the US Tech Tree. Very good tank, very solid, very reliable, well-performing. It's essentially just good at everything. I mostly have this for Tier 8 competition play, as in the 14-on-14 battles. This does get used quite a bit. T32, basically a bigger, slower Pershing with a much better turret armor profile. Again, mostly used in competition play, but this is still a very good public matches tank to have for Tier 8. This turret is ridiculous. I do really enjoy playing this thing. I may push for 3 marks on it sometime. Just haven't really decided if I want to do that. T110E5. So this is the end of the US heavy tank line. I have videos from the T1 Heavy to the E5. Very old videos, about a year and a half old now, showing me playing each tank down that line. I like the E5. I just haven't really played it much since it received a recent armor buff. For various reasons, I kind of feel like it's a little too easy mode now, but I've hardly played it since then, but it's still a very good tank to have. T110E4, mostly got this for competition play, if ever that happens in Tier 10 play. When I bust this thing out, I feel kind of dirty for it, honestly, because it's a Tier 10 TD. It's extremely easy to get damage in a Tier 10 TD when you have 300 penetration on a standard round, but nevertheless, this is still a very good tank destroyer to pick up. One of the few used in Tier 10 competition play. I've got a whole series showing me grinding down this line, as well as reviews for every TD from Tier 5 onwards towards the E4. The T92, haven't really played this thing very much. Not really enjoying artillery on the whole anymore. Might wind up selling this thing for an M4043 so that I can use that in Tier 8 competition play if necessary. T92, I hardly use it very much anymore. I always wind up getting annoying maps like Ruinberg or Himmelsdorf, where it's very ineffective anyway, so we'll probably wind up selling this thing soon. Now we're on to the British tanks. This is the Cromwell, the infamous Cromwell. Simply put, if you don't have a Cromwell in your garage, you're an idiot. And if you're offended by me calling you an idiot just now, go get a Cromwell. You won't regret it. This tank is extremely fun. Everybody should have one. We've got the Cromwell Knight. This is the premium version of the Cromwell. It's, as far as I understand, it's a Cromwell B with a big Union Jack painted on it. The best British premium tank in the game right now. Pretty good silver earner, great crew trainer. I'm so glad I picked this up. And if it ever comes up on sale again, I definitely recommend picking it up. You can find a review of this tank on my channel. The Comet, this is the tier 7 medium, comes after the Cromwell. This will teach you how to play medium tanks in middle and higher tiers very well, especially those with good gun depression. Big step up from the Cromwell, really balancing mounting it with excellent gun depression. It's still a pretty mobile tank, really fun to play this. The FE4202P, I got this for free because the FE4202 used to be a tier 10, and then it got bumped down to a tier 8 premium tank, and now the Action 10 Centurion is the tier 10 medium tank. I haven't played this yet, so I can't really say anything on it. And the Centurion Action 10. If you look at my stats, it looks as though I've played over 200 games in this thing, but those are all games in the FE4202 when it was still a tier 10, so I have yet to play the Centurion Action 10, so I have no opinion on it. I will probably bust it out at some time in the near future, though. TOG 2. This is the premium tier 6 heavy tank. This is strictly a for fun tank, but there's no reason to buy a TOG 2 if you don't have several friends that already have one or are going to buy one, because the TOG 2 isn't nearly as fun when you just go playing it by yourself. Can still earn decent silver if you have a good game, but for the most part, this is just a lolsy for fun tank. FE215B, tier 10 heavy tank. This was my first tier 10 in the game. I still have it in my garage. I don't play this very much. I think I've played it maybe once or twice in the last 20 months or so. Very old videos on this, if I recall right. Some of my first videos on this. Might get around to do some more gameplay and possibly a review of this tank in the future, but I haven't played this in a very long time, so we'll see. FE304, Birthday Avenger. This is a very fun piece of artillery, even if I think it is slightly overpowered. I do enjoy playing it. It's extremely fast, and the limited range makes you play it not like a regular artillery. You can scoot up behind somebody, shotgun them in the back if they're not paying attention for 400, 500 damage, and then laugh while you drive away at high speeds. And just, ha 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 ha, I shot you. Crusader SP, this is where I am on the British artillery. I haven't played this in probably about a year, maybe longer. Kind of working on my British artillery grind. Don't know if I'll finish it. I don't really enjoy playing the Crusader SP very much. It is fun how fast it goes backwards, but apart from that, it's kind of frustrating. Moving on to the German tanks, we've got the Lowell Tractor at tier 1. I don't know why I still have this in my garage, but if somebody new jumps in and plays some tier 1s, I have a tier 1 ready to go. It's even got equipment and everything. But I mean, I haven't sold it probably because I don't see much reason to. It's a tank where you buy it for 0 silver, you sell it for 0 silver. Sure, I could get silver for the equipment, but that's not a big deal to me, so I just keep it in my garage. Panzer 38H, I got this for free. This is the Micro Mouse. I forget what I got it for. It doesn't really matter. I've played this tank once, I think, and that's about it. Not really anything to say on it. Very bouncy for a tier 2. So if you wind up top tier in this thing, it can be entertaining. The Panzer 2D, got this for free as well. Again, don't remember what for. Haven't played it, so I don't have anything to say on it. It's another tier 2 premium light tank. That's it. Panzer 1 Charlie. This is another one where if you don't have this tank in your garage, you're an idiot. And if you are offended by me calling you an idiot just now, go get a Panzer 1 Charlie and add it to your garage. It's a tier 3 light tank. It should take no time whatsoever to grab this thing. Extremely fun tank to play, especially in platoons if you really want to ruin tier 3 matchmaking. But this does see up to tier 5, so it can be a very good starting point on learning how to play like a proper scout, where you act as the eyes for your team. Panzer 5-4, got this with the Founders Pack when the Xbox 360 version launched. Same with the T-23E3. Haven't played this in a long time, but I do have quite a few games in this. I used to play this a lot when the game was fairly new, but I haven't, as I said, I haven't played it in a very long time. It did get hit with the Nerf bat quite some time ago, so it's more like, I feel like it's more like a tier 5 E50 than an E50M, in that it can go really fast in a straight line, but it doesn't turn worth a crap, so I don't enjoy playing it as much, but it's still a very good premium tank to pick up, and it is sold extremely rarely. Panther 88, I picked this up quite some time ago when it was first offered. Only played a few games in it. Kind of trying to get used to the sit back and snipe playstyle. It's not really for me, but I might sit down and play this out for about 100 games or so just to get a feel for it, as well as use it for training up some German crews and earning some bonus silver. And we'll see how that goes. E50. If ever there was a tank with an awful stock grind, the E50 is the epitome of that. The worst stock grind in the game, but oh my god, this thing transforms into an absolute monster when it's fully upgraded. A hilariously fun tank to play. This thing is ridiculously powerful when fully upgraded for a tier 9 medium tank. Definitely worth the pain and suffering of the early packages to get this thing fully upgraded. E50M, this was my second tier 10. This thing is my baby. This has my most played games out of any tank. I have over 800 games in this. I don't really play it very much anymore, but every time I do, it's very difficult to have a bad game because I'm so familiar and comfortable with it. And you don't really see a heck of a lot of them anymore, so people kind of underestimate how powerful these monsters really are. Still one of my top 3 favorite tanks in the game by far. The Tiger 1, got this for competition play. Very good tier 7 alternative to use on city maps in 754 format. In pubs, I've played it I think twice. It seems alright. Tier 8 level of health, you have 1500 HP in this thing, so that's the same as a tier 8 heavy, and you have a ridiculously high amount of DPM, shooting every 6 seconds for 240 alpha. That's just insane. This thing's been buffed so many times, it's just not even funny anymore. We've got the Tiger 1 Hammer. This was offered for free. It's the premium version of the Tiger 1. It's got a little bit more HP for quite a bit less mobility. I personally prefer the Tiger 1 because it accelerates better and it seems to reach its top speed a lot easier and maintain its top speed a lot easier as well. Nevertheless, the Hammer is still pretty good. Very good silver earner. 1550 HP pool with the same awesome gun that the Tiger 1 has. Moving on to French tanks. AMX ELC. If there is a mid-tier scout tank that you want to learn how to scout with, this would be it. It's got a fearsome 90mm gun for a tier 5 scout, which is absolutely ridiculous, but it's also very small, very good camo rating, so if you kit it out with a crew that has all the camo perks and skills as well as the spotting ones, this thing can be a major factor on the battlefield. Also a very good tank to learn various scout tank aspects, you know, where to go, how to light up the enemy team, when to take your shots, so on and so forth. AMX CDC, this was offered for free. I earned it for free. Don't think I've played this yet. It's very big, it's very fast with no armor. Tier 1s can penetrate this. I have nothing to say on it. It's basically a de-armored but faster FCM 50 ton is my understanding, with better gun depression. So we'll probably get around to playing this to earn some extra silver and train up a French crew sometime down the road. AMX 30 prototype. This is the tier 9 non-auto-loading French medium tank. This is basically a Leopard prototype on steroids. You get better gun depression, better shell velocity. About the only thing that I don't like about the AMX 30 prototype is the turret and track traverse are not very good. This thing kind of turns like a boat, similar to an E50. Apart from that, it's really good. It's a very good tank. It's just that people know it has no armor, so if they spot you and you're very far forward on the front lines, they'll YOLO you pretty easily. FCM 50 ton, very good tier 8 French premium tank. Great for training your French crews while earning quite a lot of silver. Fantastic gun on this thing. No real armor to speak of, even though it's a heavy tank. It can bounce some very low pen guns, but apart from that, you mostly just got to use your HP pool, position yourself very well, and using that really good gun to rack up a lot of damage as the game progresses. On to Russian tanks. T-127. Got this for purchasing both a Panzer V4 and T-23 when the Xbox 360 version launched. Very good, low-tier Russian premium tank for training crews. This tank is a beast in tier 3s. It does see up to tier 4s, so it gets that preferential matchmaking, which is pretty nice. Very fun tank to play. LTTB, this is the tier 7 scout tank in the Russian tech tree. This is a fantastic tank. At the time of recording this, I don't have a fully trained crew on it, but I'm sure by the time this video renders and uploads and you are watching this now, I probably got a fully trained crew on it. Very bare bones crew, but again, I bought this back for 754 competition play format. Nevertheless, this is a fantastic scout tank to bring into public matches. T-54 lightweight, this is the tier 8 Russian scout tank. Comes after the LTTB. It's not as great in pubs as some other tier 8 light tanks. It's still an extremely good tank, and there's a reason it is the #1 pick for fast, speedy wolf packing tanks in tier 8 competition play or 754 format, whether it be 7L7 or 14-on-14. This is honestly a very, very fantastic tank to play. Only hindered by the greater access of tier 8 light tanks that are available for public matches. T-3488. I am so glad I picked this thing up. Ever since it was released the first time, I decided, nah, I'm not going to go for it. It doesn't seem so special. I've been kicking myself for it, and I'm so glad that they released it the second time I picked it up. And already I put it to work training some brand new Russian crews very quickly. Great tank to pick up. If this ever comes on sale again and you have some cash to spare, buy this thing. The Motherland. This was the first hero tank that was offered for free. It's a Tier 8 Russian premium medium tank. A lot of people really like this tank because it has some semblance of armor. I don't think it really has very good armor, to be totally honest. It's very easy to penetrate, but, you know, people are going to be people. It's still a pretty solid tank to play. It earns you very good silver. My biggest complaint is the gun is quite lacking. The standard AP pen is pretty poor. The premium APCR pen is also not that great, but still a very good premium tank to offer for free to people. Very easy to do well in this tank. The Object 416, bought this back again for Tier 8 competition play, mostly in 14-on-14 games. This thing is a monster, absolute monster. You've basically got the T-54's gun on a very mobile, very high camo rated Tier 8 medium tank platform. This thing can just dump out damage like crazy. You're shooting every 6 seconds or so for 320 alpha damage. So the DPM on this thing just goes through the roof with the proper equipment and skills. Fantastic tank to play. The Object 140, I still have this for Tier 10 competition play if that ever comes around, as this is the #1 pick for medium tanks in Tier 10 games, or Tier 10 competition I should say. Great tank to have in anybody's garage. If you're grinding the T-54, I definitely recommend researching the Object 140 first because it comes off the better gun from the T-54. You see this tank a lot because it's just so good in public matches. Churchill 3. This is one premium tank I regret buying. I don't like it. I've tried playing it. I should probably sit down and try playing it for a couple hours straight, see if I can get the hang of it and enjoy it more, but for the most part I don't like it. I hate how slow it is. Just like when I was grinding the Churchills, I hate how lackluster the gun can be. You know, just a lot of things that I don't enjoy about this tank. I truly regret buying it. But if you're into slow tanks that are fairly well armored, and you need a decent crew trainer in the middle tiers, you might want to consider a Churchill 3. KV-2, this is mostly for fun. Grinding towards the S-51 Tier 7 Russian artillery. Haven't quite done that. Might do some gameplay on the KV-2. This is just a derpy tank that is strictly for fun. Entertaining to hit a T-29 either through the front or through the side and smash them for about 1,000 damage with an HE shell, though. I will say that. IS-6, this is my go-to Russian premium tank. It's a Tier 8 premium. It's not very cheap. It's one of the more expensive ones, but I found it very worth it. The gun is very lackluster, kind of like a Motherland. Pretty low penetration for Tier 8, but it earns very good silver, and if you consistently play well in this thing, it's earning good XP every game. It's also a very good crew trainer. Very solid, well-performing tank. IS-3, this is the go-to pick for heavy tanks in city maps on competition play. This is also a great tank to play in public matches. The Top Gun is fantastic. The BL-9 is one of the best heavy tank guns for Tier 8 in the game. 229 base penetration. That's enough to go through the front of a mouse if you know where to shoot it. And I've done it before, so that's saying something. IS-3 is just a fantastic tank to have in anybody's garage, to be totally honest. The T10, or as I still call it, the IS-8. Might push for 3 marks on this thing. I've been very close for a long time, about 92-93%, kind of fluctuating around there, but we'll probably push for 3 marks on this thing. I love playing this thing. I will keep it in my garage for a long time because this is a great Tier 9 tank to play if you know how to use it appropriately, where to flex your tank, where to go, where your team needs you, where you need to be a presence, where you need to put your awesome turret armor into play. Just a great tank to have in any veteran tanker's garage. SU-100Y, this is a very fun, I don't care anymore kind of Tier 6 premium tank. It's in the tech tree now. Really hilarious when you shoot a Tier 6 heavy tank and they lose half their health. The gun on this thing is massive. It's a 130mm caliber gun, so it does huge amounts of damage with its 2 AP shells. Just a really hilarious tank to play. Pretty good crew trainer because it's a Tier 6 and can earn you some bonus silver as well. Onto the Chinese tanks, the Type T-34. I bought this back because a friend of mine was grinding it, working down the Chinese tech tree, and he was struggling with it, so I bought this back, played it with him. He watched how I played it as well, and he struggled with it a heck of a lot less. But this is nevertheless a fantastic Tier 5 medium tank to play. I was also thinking about going for 3 marks on this thing, but I'd feel kind of dirty if I did that on a Tier 5. I mean, But what can you say? I've seen T-67s and Hellcats with 3 marks, so I might push for that on this thing. Just a great tank to play. Totally worth grinding tiers 1 through 4 just to get a Type T-34 in your garage. Type 59. This is a tier 8 premium Chinese medium tank. I prefer this over the Motherland in every way. The gun handling sucks by comparison, but everything else about it is better. And although I don't hold armor in high regards, the Type 59's armor is flat out superior to the Motherland's by a significant margin. The turret is very respectable compared to the Motherland. The lower plate isn't an easy pen because the thickness of the armor on the lower plate is, I believe, the same as the upper plate. Just everything except the gun handling pretty much on the Type 59 is better than the Motherland. I much prefer this over the Motherland myself. This is my go-to Chinese crew trainer for premium tank. Great silver earner as well. IS-2. This is pretty much my current grind, working towards the 110 tier 8 heavy tank, as the 110 is the next choice for tier 8 competition play in 14-on-14 or 754 format. If you have too many IS-3s already, the 110 is your next pick. So working on that. Expect a kind of grind series as I work up towards the 113 tier 10 heavy tank, starting with the IS-2, so there will be some gameplay of the IS-2 in the future. I love playing this tank, to be totally honest, just like an IS and the Russian tech tree, except a little bit more mobile. On to the Japanese tanks. Chinukai, bought this a long time ago. This is my Japanese crew trainer. Great crew trainer, can only use some bonus silver as well. Take some serious finesse with this thing because it's not very quick and the armor is pretty much non-existent, but the gun on it is pretty fearsome. If you can keep it in play, you can really rack up some damage, and by the end of the game, if you dealt out a significant amount of damage, you can earn quite a bit of silver and your crew gets trained quite quickly. And lastly, we have the STB-1, the Japanese tier 10 medium tank. I free XP'd this the day the Japanese the Japanese tech tree was introduced. Almost 2 years ago, at least a year and a half ago. I haven't played this in a very long time. I've got a very old review on it. I feel like it's still a relevant review, even though it's like an hour long. But I haven't played this in a long time. I don't really play my 10s much anymore. But nevertheless, this is a great tank to have in anybody's garage. Totally worth going down the Japanese medium tank line to pick up this little beauty. And that's basically it. So we're coming up on almost 25 minutes here. So as you can see, there's been a lot of changes to my garage. I sold a lot of tanks. The 46 patent, 48 patent, the Object 430, the T62A, just a lot of tier 10s that I sold, a lot of lower tier tanks that I sold. AMX 1390 got sold, for example. Like I said, nothing more to say to it. There's been a lot of changes to my garage because the simple fact is that tier 8 competition play dictates what I grind for these days, what stays in my garage for the vast majority of it. I do keep some tanks for tier 10 competition play if that ever shows up, like the STB-1, the Object 140, the T110E5, and the E4. Those will be my competition tanks for tier 10 if that ever shows up. But for the most part, tanks that I haven't played in a long time and just didn't really play, I sold them. I even sold the 121 already. Played 100 games in it, released the review video that you probably saw last week there. But for the most part, I don't really play my 10s very much anymore. That's why I keep some 9s like the IS-8 here and the E50. I much prefer playing tier 9s or lower for some reason. Call me crazy, but that'll be it for this garage update. It's been a very long time since I did one, so as you can see, I have a lot less tanks now than I did back then, if I recall correctly. Sold a lot of my tier 10s as well. Nevertheless, that'll be it for this video, so I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to say in the comments below any lines you would like to see me do, possibly, as well as any tanks you would probably like to see some gameplay on. And if I get around to it, I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, this has been Mobius. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you in my next video or on the battlefield. As always, happy tank.